Hey guys, I'm back with another one of my collectibles. Finally, I'm going to open my Ultimetal Ultra Magnus today. This is from Action Toys in collaboration with Future Models. This is a licensed product. And just to show you how big the box is, we have about 29 inches across. Looks like about close to 24 inches tall. And we're talking about almost 15 inches wide. Alright, so I just cut the tape here. First thing you'll notice is this piece of cardboard, and there we go. Here is the box. You can see it's supported on all four corners, which is nice. It has these reinforcements here. I'm going to go ahead and take all this out and pull out the figure. Alright guys, and just wanted to show you the size of the original. This is the Optimus Prime Ultimetal. This is the first figure that they released. You can see that the box for Ultra Magnus is literally double the size. So you can see here is the box for Optimus, and down below obviously is the Ultra Magnus, so you can see it's double the size. All right, just pulled this out of the cardboard box, and man, just I really love the design, the artwork that they have on the front of the box. I think that fits it really nice. They have the same motif that they had for the Optimus Prime box, so I like how they're continuing in the series. And let's go ahead and we'll turn it around to the back of the box and take a look. Alright, so here's the back of the box. You can see the matrix in the center. You can see it's got Hasbro all over it. It's got Action Toys. Very friendly, collector friendly box. And you can see it has a lot of individual boxes. Alright, so I have the instruction booklet. Just right off the top, the instruction booklet doesn't feel as good as the first one as far as the paper quality. They're just using this thin paper, whereas in the first one was actually an actual booklet, very thicker, just a thicker gauge paper, but still it looks nice. It definitely shows what we have to do to assemble. So we'll go ahead and we'll start unpacking. Remove this slip cover, put that off to the side, and then you've got the actual figure box. These are same as the original Ultra Magnus, I'm sorry, the original Optimus Prime. These are very solid boxes. So this is not your average box. This is a very strong cardboard box. Alright, so I just flipped the box around, and as you can see, it has a nice picture of the Ultra Magnus figure. Alright, so inside of the Ultra Magnus hard box is the styrofoam, and this is all taped together to compress the two halves. Alright, so I've just cut the tape, and there we go. This is what the Ultra Magnus robot looks like. We'll go ahead and we'll take them out of the box. You can see they have protective foam on the top, really nice. So before we take a look at the figure, we'll go ahead and go through the parts real quick. So this is the Ultra Magnus armor parts. So we'll go ahead and open up this box here. Alright, so we've got a wide array of parts. These are obviously all of the parts we would use to complete the Magnus. See, he's got the sword, I'm sorry, the axe, he's got his gun, and then he's got all of the armor itself. Like I said, all these pieces are actually die cast, so they basically go in place with it's all magnetized. So this is basically the same as how the Optimus Prime was. Alright, so finally the last box that is inside here is the actual Ultra Magnus armor. Alright, so here is the Ultra Magnus armor. So this is the whole width of the box. Look at this thing. This is really cool. Now, these pieces are huge. Wow, this is going to be an amazing piece once it's all together. This is really cool. Now, these pieces are not die cast, so that's a little bit, that kind of sucks, but I can see why they didn't make them out of die cast. This thing weighs a ton as it is, and just, I mean, look at the size of this freaking gun. This is an amazing And oh, so this thing, yeah, and all these parts have like massive amounts of weight to them. So if they were die cast, it would be even crazier. But very cool, very excited to put this bad boy together. I almost forgot, guys, there's one more box. So this box is actually labeled parts box. So there's 4 boxes total. This is obviously the base. We got the remote control. We've got the matrix that goes on the stand. So we'll go ahead and we'll take a look at all of that later. Guys, look at this. This is Ultimetal Ultra Magnus. Now right now obviously we don't have his Ultra armor on there, but this is beautiful. I mean, this piece is just gorgeous. The details are amazing. All of the painted detail that they have in this figure is just sublime. They've got vac metal chrome on some of the hydraulic pistons. Some of the pistons are painted to give you that contrast. All the actuators, just really wonderful. And that's what sets this line apart from any other, basically any other figure. This is an articulated figure. This is not an actual transformer. I mean, it's licensed, but it doesn't actually transform. But if you want a representation of a character in your collection, you still want action figure, this is the line you want. Like if you don't want to go towards statues, this is definitely what you would want to get into. All right, so let's take a look. Let's move him a little bit closer here, just so I can show you some extra detail. This is just wonderful. I mean, the funny thing is I already have Optimus Prime. Got that, I don't know, it's probably been 3 or 4 years since that one originally came out. But it's amazing. I mean, it's just amazing to see the inner workings of a robot. Very, very happy with what I see right now, and we haven't even got to all the goodness. So first thing we'll do is, I guess we'll go ahead and we'll just open up his chest here. Let me move the camera up a little bit here. We'll open up his chest. So we'll just flip this open, and then we'll basically flip open these 2 areas right here, and then we'll go ahead and we'll put the matrix of leadership in his chest. This is really cool too. They do a really good job on the matrix. Every matrix they give you just a really, really nice look. There's 2 matrices that come with the kit. This is the smaller version that fits in his chest, and then there's a larger version that actually goes inside, that is part of the base. But we'll go ahead and we'll put this one in here for now. All right, so we'll go ahead and we'll just close this up here, and we'll close the flap down. And then close his chest, and this is all die cast as well. All these pieces are die cast. This robot itself is very, very heavy. A lot of die cast in the robot itself. And as far as articulation is concerned, I mean, it's got really, really, real strong joints. I mean, very, very strong joints. It has a lot of articulation for a robot like this. The actual pistons, they do move, so as we go ahead and start articulating them, there's actual locks inside of his joints, so you've got full range of motion. These are real heavy. It's kind of hard to see here, but these are solid die cast joint. Well, they're probably some kind of a steel mixture. It's just a lot of weight here. But yeah, there's all different. The pistons they move, so you can see how the leg can move in any direction virtually, and then there's also a locking mechanism that is off to the side, so it's on the inside of the thigh here, so it's kind of hard to see, but let me turn it over to the side, see if you can see this. Let me move the camera down just a little bit here. So this is actually a button, and you would never know it's a button, but it is. So if you press this little button inward, you can actually get this whole thigh to actually start to move, and then lock into place. So it's really, really neat how they did that. And there's buttons all over this robot to get different articulation. So if you press in this button, you can see how the pistons actually move with the actual thigh. You know, you're just not going to get that kind of quality in other you know, in other robots. I mean, let alone an actual transformer, you would never see that kind of an awesome articulation joint. So like I said, this is the type of robot, if you're looking for something with, you know, massive amounts of articulation and just, you know, what an actual inner skeleton of what a robot would actually look like, this is definitely the figure for you. And this is too much weight right now for what I have here to have him stand. I could probably balance out the weight a little bit, kind of possibly. No, that's still too much weight. But these joints are all able to handle that kind of a pose. The only problem is you just don't have enough weight. I mean, there's a lot of die cast in these legs, but there's just not enough weight for you to sustain some kind of a pose like that. It's just too much, too heavy on that side. But I mean, you're never gonna put him in a pose like that anyway. But as far as articulation wise, you can get him in some crazy amounts of pose. So that's really cool. But let's get him back to normal here. I'm gonna release a couple of these joints just so we can get him back into the way it was. So let's go ahead and we've got that one all the way in, and then let's press this one just so it goes back down, and we'll just put him in a typical A stance just for now, just to kind of take a look at everything and kind of go from there. So there you go. That is a little bit of the articulation. Like I said, this whole figure has all kinds of articulation, even as far as the ankles themselves. It does have different ankle positions, and you can see how the actual pistons will elongate. So you can see how this one's longer and then this one's shorter, and you can see how the foot is actually totally planted on the ground. So that is really, really awesome that you can do that type of articulation. You can do the same thing with the other side if you want. Basically, you can move it so that way the robot itself has a fully planted on the ground and is able to have that type of articulation. So yeah, I mean, that's what sets this apart, and it's hard to understand. You know, people you know, ask me, you know, how you're spending, you know, $1,100 plus shipping, or, you know, around $1,100 for this figure. You know, and that's a ton of money. But the quality that you're getting in something like this, especially if you have a favorite character, you know, I'm really hoping that they do Megatron. I don't know if they will. They showed it off about 5 years ago, and they haven't had any production on there. But you get yourself really, really nice rubber tires. If that means anything to you, everything is just high quality. I don't really know. If anybody is able to see this in person, that's really how you need to see this type of figure, is actually hold it in your hand, feel the weight of it, feel how everything is just polished. You know, the line work, it's just a beautiful work of art. So, all right, guys. Well, I think what we'll do is let's go ahead and we'll put a couple of the armor parts on here to form a white Magnus, and then we'll go from there. All right, let's put some armor on here. So we'll start with let's start with the shoulder. So we'll take, this is, like I said, these are die cast, they're held on with magnets. So let's put that there. And let's take the back part of this shoulder and let's place that on here. So let's see, this should kind of go like that. That kind of squeezes together. And let's see here. Let's grab a section of his arm. We'll go ahead and we'll put some plating on his arm. Once again, these are all die cast pieces, So that's really neat. And let's see, so here's another piece, like I said, all die cast, and we will fit this on. So that's just gonna kind of go over just like that. Okay, so that's his arm. All right, so for this to work, you got to push this arm back a little bit. You take this piece here, the grill, and then you take one side. The grill is actually plastic, and you're gonna basically just move this body up just a little bit, and then as you're doing it, you're gonna basically plug one side in and then slide this whole thing over. So this is gonna kind of slide in, and then once you have one side in, then you can go ahead and let's do the same thing, kind of move the arm a little bit. And then this is gonna basically slide around his other side. And it is magnetized, so it will kind of guide you a little bit, but then it'll basically compress to a nice solid feeling, so you'll have a real solid feeling. So basically that's kind of how it's going to look when you have that section done. Alright, so let's go ahead and let's put these pieces on here, these side vents. There's a little hole in the front, and then there's also a hole in the back. It's a little tricky because you have to kind of maneuver this together, so you just kind of start it in the front, and then just kind of place it up here, and then they should collapse together. They kind of mate together there. Here we go, just squeeze them together kind of like that. So there you go, so that's the side vent there, and it's cool, you can still see the chrome pistons inside of there, so that's pretty neat. Alright, and then we'll go ahead and we'll do the other side. You put his arm down a little bit there, and we will go over to his other side. Alright, the other side was a little tricky, so I ended up just putting that on myself off camera. You'll notice there might be a little bit of extra paint on some of the pieces, so you kind of work it in, but that's to be expected. Alright, so let's go ahead and let's see, we've got his thigh piece there. Let's also attach, this is all die cast. These vents are all movable, so they really work. That's really neat. I actually didn't realize the camera was too high, but so yeah, so this piece here is the piece I just put on, so that just locks into place. It is magnetic and it is die cast, and then finally we'll put on the foot. So let's come down here, and this is also solid die cast. I mean, look at how thick that is. This is solid die cast, solid. I mean, this piece alone probably weighs a pound. So we'll go ahead and we'll put that on. Put that on his foot. So there you go. So there's one leg. So that's just to kind of give you an idea. It's really cool. So there's from the bottom all the way up to the top. And there's also a waist flap piece as well. And so the waist flap, let's see here, see if I can figure out how that goes on. So that's gonna be, this is actually plastic. Let's see here, let's take this off. Let's move this back just so we can get some room here. And let's see, how does this work? So this looks like it just kind of slides in, and then as you're sliding it, it kind of just covers that. So there you go, there's the waist piece there. So that's really nice fit. All right, cool. So yeah, so there's half of Ultra Magnus, and so I'm gonna, just to speed up a little bit, I'm going to apply the rest of the pieces off camera, and I will be right back to show you what he looks like all assembled. And all right guys, I'm back. So I've got everything assembled, and like I said, if you want a Ultra Magnus, a white Ultra Magnus, this is really the figure you need to get. The detailing on this thing is amazing. With all of his armor on there, it just looks awesome. You can still see some pistons inside the armor. Just what a wonderful, wonderful representation of Magnus. So I'm just going to go ahead and I'm just going to show you a little bit here. All right, and once again, if we're going to do any type of articulation, like I said, I mean, you can do all kinds of articulation, but if you want, as far as the ankle tilts, you can see how this is not flat right now. We can go ahead and tilt it so it's totally flat. You can see how this flap is movable here, so it kind of will go with the articulation. Same thing on this side. We can go ahead and click that in. Really, really satisfying click. You can see how now it is 100% flat on there. So he's got a nice stance, and just really, really awesome. Very, very happy with the way this figure turned out here. All right, so we've got his blaster. You've got slide off pieces to expose the barrel, or actually say the turret. And then you've got these bottom areas here where you can slide off. So it's nice. It's got painted detail, just like Prime's gun. Like I said, articulation. You got the double jointed elbow, which is nice. You can get some really, really good articulation. And then we can go ahead and kind of bend his head a little bit there. So yeah, I mean, all in all, you can really get some good poses with this guy. Geez, you know, we've been shooting all this and haven't even got to the Ultra Magnus armor. So there's a lot of play value in this. You know, you could have this on display 1 month and then just kind of take a little bit of time off and then go ahead and put the Ultra Magnus armor on. So I mean, like I said, there's a lot of play value in these figures. You've got a lot of articulation. And like I said, they're just really, overall, they're good, really good figures. He also comes with his energy axe. So if you want, you can actually put that on his hand. So, and his hands actually pop off, so you can actually take his hands off. And I think you put this in I think the idea is you put this in a square. No, I think you got to put the thumb in. Okay, yeah, so you just kind of pack it in like that, and put on the axe, and then pop it into the joint, and then there you go. There you've got his energy axe there. So that's kind of cool if you want to display it with his axe. So that's kind of neat. Gives it a different mode of display. So, like I said, there's all different ways to display this guy. I probably wouldn't even use the axe, but you know, the options are there. Yeah, so I don't know, guys. That's that. Oh, there's also, and now around the back here, this section right here is where the batteries are. So you can put 3 AAA batteries in here, and basically he's got some modes. So this is actually the remote for Optimus. The other one, Magnus, comes with a blue remote, so it's got blue buttons instead. But Alright, so I just got some more batteries. So it's kind of hard to see with the lights. Maybe if I if I put the lights down, you can kind of see that he's got red eyes. So I mean, it's pretty cool. I mean, I can definitely see it in the room a lot better than the way it's coming through the camera. With the lights, it's kind of flushing it all out. But yeah, there you go. I mean, it's pretty neat. Like the Optimus Prime, the actual face shield actually moves. With this version, there's no motorization in the face shield. It would have been nice if there was a Robert Stack voice. The Optimus Prime actually had an official Peter Cullen voice in there, saying a bunch of his phrases. Unfortunately, this does not have either. But all right, one more thing: the chest. So if we open up the chest, now that we have the batteries in there, we should be able to open this up. And let's see, one of these should activate the matrix. There we go. So the second button actually activates the matrix. So if I put you can see the matrix is in there. It looks nice. Matrix. It does light up. It takes 2 more batteries, which I do not have. Those are the LR41 batteries. I don't have any more batteries. So, but basically, it's really cool. This allows him to basically, as soon as he opens it up like this, it will turn on. All right. So one last pose here. This figure is just really, really fun. So I took the large matrix and basically put it in this position. I think this is really cool. Like I said, I don't have any batteries for the matrix, but if I did, it would be a nice bright white light in the center, which would be really neat. But yeah, I mean, this just looks really, really good. Having it like this, you can see his arms are fully outward, holding the matrix in front of him. It's a great pose to also have him in. Go a little bit here. So yeah, that's a great look right there. Just an awesome figure. All right, so to transform him into Ultra Magnus, first thing we're going to do is take off these plates here. Smokestacks come off. These plates come off. And then we have to pull out shoulders. So shoulders actually extend, so you just kind of pull those out. And take off battery cover. So we have to remove the battery cover. And all right. And it says assemble front and rear armor parts. So let's see. So front and rear armor parts are going to be these pieces here, it looks like. So it looks like these are just going to clip on. Might as well take this off, take these pieces off. Pull that out. I don't know how much more we're going to take off, but this piece here is going to clip right in. All right. You have to remove it, which is oh, okay. So we have to put the rest of the pieces on, which is, that's why we need the battery cover to be off, because it looks like we have to put the back piece on here. So the back piece goes over this whole section. And that just kind of slides on like that, so that's nice. And then it says we can put the battery cover back on. So we'll go ahead and Put the battery cover back on. Alright, so now that we have that, we're going to assemble the backpack armor. So the backpack armor is this large piece here. Alright, so you're going to take this large piece and we're going to assemble that. So this is basically just going to click on like that. So that's kind of cool. So there is the back piece, and it says now we can assemble the chest armor. So everything is individually wrapped, so you have to kind of unwrap everything. So here is the assemble the chest armor part, red, then add the blue. So you're basically, it actually comes in one piece like that. So what we're going to do is we're going to separate those pieces. We're going to add the red part on first. So we are going to basically squeeze that together. Alright, so we've got all of this compressed together. And then you can go ahead and you can put the blue part of the armor on. Yeah, I mean, if this was all die cast, like I said, these pieces are all plastic, but I can see why that they made them plastic. There's no way. This thing would be super heavy. It's like I said, it's already heavy as it is. Alright, so now we have the chest armor. Next thing we're going to do is assemble the waist area. Alright, so that's going to kind of go like that, where you're going to have this center waist piece, this cod piece is going to kind of go on like that. Alright, so we'll add the waist pieces, so these will basically just tab into there. Alright, so we're going to add the side pieces on the waist, right in there. Do the same thing for the other side. Alright, next thing we're going to do is we're going to do a head swap, so we're going to install this new head. So that is the new Ultra Magnus head. You can see he's got blue eyes instead of the red eyes. So we're just going to pop this off. There's just a little electrical connection there. Put that off to the side. And we're going to just pop into place the new head. Alright, so for this next part, what you have to do is you actually have to reinstall these pieces. You need the thickness of this square in order to make this work. You also have to remove the little Autobot logo, so that just simply comes right off. And that's how these shoulder pieces are gonna work. So they're basically going to just slip over this whole entire assembly, and you just basically push them down very lightly. You don't have to apply too much pressure at all. It's just going to slide on nicely like that. But yeah, that gives it the thickness that you're going to need. Wow, this guy is really coming together. Really cool. Alright, so the next thing you're going to do is kind of just separate the arms a little bit. Just have a little bit more of a wider stance. Make sure the forearms have the symbol facing forward. You're going to basically take these two halves here, and you're going to basically put these around the arm itself. So you're going to take this one piece there, and you're just going to kind of sandwich them together. So you just sandwich it together like that. So just take your little clip and just lock it like that. So that's one. Let's do the other side and do the same thing. Take the two pieces, crack them in half, and then basically they're just gonna get sandwiched together. Just make sure you're lining everything up. You definitely don't want to smush anything or break anything. Alright, and then you can just take this piece here, lock it together. Alright, next thing we're going to do is we're going to take these plates. So this plate actually, it kind of hooks on, so you can see how that basically slides on the inside. So you got to take the die cast parts out and then slide it on and then replace the die cast parts. So actually let's put the plastic part on first. So that's going to basically slide back in there, and then let's put the die cast piece back on. Alright, so that's going to lock into there, and then do the same thing for the other side. So I'm going to take this side here, and you're just going to slide that. Alright, so you've got these two pieces slid on. They're attached by that little tab there. Now you got to go ahead and replace your die cast parts. So you can basically pop all these parts back together. And like I said, once we get the side pieces in there, it'll all kind of tighten up for us. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to assemble the feet. So the feet, they come like this, and what you got to do is you have to separate these two halves. There's no way to get on. So you separate the two halves, lift it up, slip it in like a slipper, and then you can put the back piece on. Alright, so as far as the feet, the shoes are concerned, I would say those are pretty difficult to get on. I mean, basically you have to slide the shoe in, and then you have to lock it down. Just with the sheer weight of this figure, it's just really hard to kind of get it on. You can see it's not perfect. I'll have to play around with that a little bit later, but yeah, it's on there, but I need to probably tune them up a little. Now we can take our outside armor pieces, which are going to be these pieces here. I mean, the cool thing is they've got this all painted on the inside, which you're really not going to see any of that, but it just goes to show you that, you know, all this detail is there. So it's just really cool to have all that. Alright, so these are going to basically just set on here, and then we're going to have some locking mechanisms in the back, but for now these are just going to basically sit on there. So we'll take that one there, and then we'll do the same over here. Those are just going to be on there, and then we're going to have some clips on the back to secure it all together. Alright, so let's go ahead and turn him around. Alright, so here we go. So we've got the back pieces here. I'm guessing that it goes to the right. So there's a panel there. Okay, yeah, so that's what's going to happen here. This is all going to, so this is going to have to go inside. Alright, so that's going to lock that into place there. And then we'll do the same thing over here. Okay. Alright, so let's go ahead and turn him around. And this is one big freaking bot at this point. Alright, so the last thing we gotta do is show you his freaking weapon. Yes, it is the width of this figure. This weapon is awesome. You can see the inside of the barrel. They've got that all painted. Very, very, very cool. Yeah, I mean, this is freaking amazing. Very, very nice detail. Very nice paint. Very, very, very cool. Alright guys, here we go. Here is Ultimetal Ultra Magnus. Let's go ahead and turn them on with the remote. There we go. So you can see his eyes are lit. Let me see if I can raise the camera up a little bit more so you can see that. It's kind of hard to see. See if I can get a top shot here. So there you go. You can see his eyes are blue. That's very, very cool. So let me put the tripod down. And let me turn his eyes off. All right, well, yeah, I'm happy, guys. I'm happy with this figure. I really feel he really looks awesome. To be able to see a figure of this magnitude. Let's take off the tripod here just to kind of give you an idea. This is really cool. Look at this guy. This guy is freaking huge. Let's see if I can... this is always hard to do with large figures. I have the same problem with statues. Maybe if I can... Let me push this back a little bit, just to give a little bit of a better presence there. Look at this thing. This thing is a beast. Yeah, and if all these pieces were die cast, it would be nuts. I mean, this figure, at least right now, I'm thinking this is probably about 30 pounds of weight. Probably about 30 pounds right now. But yeah, if all these pieces were die cast, I mean, that would have been awesome if they would have done that. I definitely understand why they didn't do that, just because of the the weight, and who knows if the cost would have been more. I'm happy with what they did. Hopefully they got enough use out of this mold, the inner bot mold at least, and they will go ahead and actually do a new mold, which would be Megatron, hopefully. But yeah, this is really cool. And there's also detail. There's also detail in here. So his launchers will move, and then you can actually take apart this tower here. So if you want to see some inner workings of the way the towers would be, so that's really cool. You can, like I said, you can take all this off here and see the inner workings. And if you want, you can pose his missiles. So yeah, I mean, they just thought of everything. I mean, just to see, the inner turbines. I mean, you can just picture if these turbines were spinning. I mean, wouldn't that be awesome to see them spinning? That would have been really cool. But I mean, they did what they did. At least they have, like I said, they've got painted detail in here, and that really looks nice to have that exposed like that. So, it's just nice of what they think about. I think they do a great job. I mean, there's even detail on the inside of these plates. There's really no need to have that detail in there, but there's still sculpted detail on the inside. Really neat, very, very neat, very cool. Man, I love these figures. I mean, I wish the price wasn't so expensive, but there's just a lot of engineering that goes into something like this. That's the truth. I mean, you've got a lot of engineering to make something like this actually work. And then as far as his blaster's concerned, I don't even know what we're gonna do with it. I think, let's see here. I think what we can do is, let's move this up a little bit. See if we can get him to hold this mammoth blaster. I don't even know if he would... Okay, yeah, I can see what they did here. So what they did is they added these little pieces in here, which is, I think this is a really good idea. They added this little perch in here, so you can kind of, I think you can kind of stick this in there. Okay, so that that piece can go in there. Oh, look at this. This thing comes apart. Look at how cool that is. Look at it spins. Look at this. You see that? Freaking cool, cool, cool. Alright, so yeah, you can put that in there. I think this is meant to, let's see if let's put this in here. Does this spin without? No, this doesn't spin. I was thinking maybe in the back of it you could get that to spin as well, but it doesn't. And put the thumb like that. So that way the gun has a way to I mean, this gun is heavy. This gun is probably maybe a pound. I don't know. I don't know if it's going to be good to continuously keep it in there like that. But definitely a cool idea. So yeah, I mean, look at this thing. This thing is huge. It's massive. Look at that thing. Alright, so just to give you some scale here, let's see here. Let me go grab another figure. Be right back. Alright, so we know how big of a figure Masterpiece Ultra Magnus is. So let's show you compared. So there you go. There is Masterpiece Ultra Magnus next to his big brother Ultimetal Ultra Magnus. So check that out, just to give you an idea of size. Yeah, this is crazy. I mean, it's just crazy. This is a huge freaking figure. This blaster is probably about as tall as Masterpiece Ultra Magnus, at least his width. So just to kind of give you an idea, I mean, the width, I mean, this blaster is huge. It's bigger than the stance that I have him in right now. Just look at this. That's how big we're talking. These Ultimetal figures you have to experience in person. I mean, this is crazy stuff here. So, all right, guys. Well, I really hope you enjoyed everything I've done here. This really was a lot of fun. It's a workout. It's fun to put this together, but man, there's a lot of parts. You want to talk about parts forming? This is the bot for you to parts form. Such a really awesome. I think they did a great job. I really do. I'm satisfied with the amount of engineering that they put into it. You know, like I said, it'd be nice if all of the pieces were die cast, but I truly can understand why they didn't. If I had a scale, I'd weigh him, but I'm guessing he's probably about 30 pounds with all of the die cast and all of the plastic pieces on there. But yeah, he's awesome. This is so cool. And I didn't even show you, but this also comes with a little base to put him on. Let me go ahead and get the base. Be right back. As you can see, it actually glows. So I don't know if you can see that or not. But you can see it's got the Autobot logo. It's got the Autobot logo in the center of it. Honestly, I don't know why it's red. I kind of wish it was blue. I guess they're, you know, I mean, the Autobot logo has always been red, but I always think red is kind of, you know, maybe it's, you know, means evil, who knows, but it's kind of a weird red. It's like a hell red, so I don't know why they did that, but whatever. But yeah, that's the base. Honestly, with his Ultra Magnus armor, it looks kind of goofy, real small. You can see that it has a holder for Magnus's weapon, which is nice. It's got a little spot over here where you can put this little remote control holder, so it actually, you know, it'll actually store your remote control, which is nice. I mean, but you know, you're not going to put that on display. honestly, I'm not even going to use this this stand. I just don't think it's even going to work inside my display. Heck, I don't know if this is gonna fit in my display, but I just wanted to show you that. So once again, hopefully you have enjoyed this video, and please, if you like these types of collectibles, whether it's statues or transformers or highly articulated detailed action figures like this figure here, please come back and take a look at more of my collection. All right, thanks everyone.